Welcome to biology. The word biology comes from two Greek words, bios, which means life, and logos, which means the study of. And therefore, biology is the study of all things that are alive. Well, since we have so many things that are alive in this world, we have a lot of ground to cover this year. The textbook that we're going to be using is Apologia's Exploring Creation with Biology. And as you are working your way through the course, your blueprint for what you're going to be doing every day will be the daily lesson plans that I send you. As you look at those lesson plans, you will find that they really look very much like a checklist, and they will list in order the activities that you need to complete each day to master the material in the course. Most days you're going to start out with a reading assignment, and I will tell you specifically what pages to read. And so you will read those pages, and after that, a lot of times you're going to find some links to some videos, either that I have made or to videos that I've found on YouTube that I would like for you to watch. Those videos are going to provide more information or maybe lay the information out in a slightly different way than what your book did. Sometimes I will give you memory tips for how to help you remember some of the information. And if you can watch the video at the point in the lesson plans where I have it, I believe that's the place where it will provide the most benefit to you. However, I am aware that sometimes your internet may be out, or maybe somebody else is using the computer at that particular point in time and you don't have access to it. So even if you can't watch the videos exactly when I tell you to watch them, that's okay. You shouldn't stop studying biology for the day or put it away or just sit there drumming your fingers. Oh, I have to wait until my little sister's done with the computer so I can finish my biology. No, you don't need to do that. Just wait until the computer is available or the internet is back up. If you can watch the videos at the point where I've put them in, I think that's where they will be most helpful. After you've done your reading and watched the videos, there are about 3 different types of homework assignment that you may possibly have. The first type of homework assignment that you're going to have are called on your own questions. And you will find those in the book, and they are located in these brown call-out boxes in the text. Now, when you answer the on your own questions, I want you to get out a piece of paper and a pencil and actually write down your answer to those questions. Could you answer them in your head? You could, but what tends to happen is that we kind of tend to form a kind of a mushy answer in our head as opposed to forming a very firm answer. And when we write it down, it makes us commit to that answer and be sure that we really know what we're talking about. Then, after you've answered the on your own questions, at the end of the chapter, right before the study guide, you will find the answers to the on your own questions. And so what I want you to do is once you've answered all of them on paper, go to the answer in the book and then check your answers and make sure that they are correct. If they're not correct, then go back, figure out what you did wrong, and correct your answers. Make sure you've got the correct answer written down, because that's going to really help you learn the material. After you've done the on your own questions, there will be questions on the study guide, which is also found at the end of the chapter. And you should answer the specific study guide questions that I will assign for that day also. Now, I want you to understand that you will not necessarily be answering the study guide questions in order. I may tell you on the first or second day of class, I want you to answer study guide questions numbers 6, 7, and 8. We may not start at number 1, so don't let that surprise you. You will also find that in the introduction to the book, the author tells you that you should wait until you finish the entire chapter before you start working on the study guide. And in my many years of experience in teaching, I have found that that really isn't of the most benefit to my students. What I have seen is that the more practice I can give them with the material at the time that they're learning it, that's when they do better answering those questions and really mastering the material as trying to wait until the end and then getting it all down at the same time. On that same note, working through those homework questions should be the time when you are really studying to master the material. You don't want to wait until the night before the test to try and learn all the material, cram it all into your head so that you can splurt it back out on the test. It's not very efficient, and it really doesn't help you learn things in the best way. So your homework, again, is the time to help you master the material, to help you learn the concepts, and making sure that you have answer the questions, and then corrected any answers that you may have missed is going to really help you in that process. Now, when you go to answer or go to correct your study guide questions, the answers are found in the solutions and test manual that comes with the book. Now, you need to have a conversation with your teaching parent as to what they want you to do as far as how you're going to get those questions answered. Are you going to correct your answers by looking at the answer key yourself, or is your parent going to look at it and grade your answers and then give it back to you to correct? It doesn't make any difference to me how you do it. That would be something that you need to have a conversation with your parent about. But whatever way you go about it, you must make sure that your answers have been corrected. So on your own questions, study guide questions, and some days you're going to have a coloring page to complete. Now, at this point, you're probably rolling your eyes and thinking, Mrs. Thompson, I am not in kindergarten anymore, and I don't even want to color. Well, let me explain to you the reason why we do coloring pages in biology. A coloring page, what it does is it will help you to focus on individual aspects of the anatomy of a plant or an animal that we're studying. It will help you understand how those different component parts are put together to make a whole. It will help you understand what each one of the individual parts do, as long as you're thinking as you're coloring and you're not just coloring it blindly. So I want to make sure that you understand that those coloring pages are not busy work. They are intended to help you understand the anatomy and the physiology of the creatures, both plants and animals that we're going to be studying, and they will help you to master the material as we go through that. So the on your own questions, the study guide questions, any coloring pages you have, those all combine together to make homework. And your homework is worth 20% of your grade. Now, it's really easy to get 100% on your homework because all you have to do is complete your homework, check it, correct it, and do that every day, and you'll have 100% in that aspect of the class. Second aspect of the class, as you may well expect from a science class, are the experiments that we're going to be doing. In biology, in this particular book, you will find that there are 3 types of experiments. One are experiments that utilize household materials. And so the materials that are there should be things that you either have in your house or that you can easily obtain in your area. The second type of lab that we're going to be doing are microscope labs. If you do not have access to a microscope, I will be sending you links to pictures on the internet of the different things that we're going to be looking at under the microscope, and you will be able to complete the microscope lab experiments from those pictures that I send you. The third type of experiment is dissection, and once again, if you were not able to get the dissection specimens, if you weren't able to have them transported to your location, again, I will be sending you pictures that you will be able to look at photographs of these specimens and be able to make your drawings and your observations from those pictures. I have sent you also a document that explains how I want you to write up a lab. I am going to ask you to keep a lab notebook. This is the notebook that we like to use in our house, these bound type of notebooks. You don't have to use that type of notebook. You can use something else, but I would recommend that you keep a separate notebook with your labs in it. And the reason for that is that if you decide later on that you want to go to college, some colleges will ask for evidence that your sciences in high school were lab-based. And when you can show them a lab notebook with all of your experiments in it, that proves to them that you did have a lab component to your science courses. When you finish writing up your lab, you're going to take pictures of it. You're going to send it to me. I'll grade it, and I'll send back not only a grade, but a lot of comments as to this part you did well, this part needs to, you need to fix this, you didn't quite understand this part. And so by the end of the course, you should know how to keep a really good lab notebook. So homework is 20%, experiments are 30%, and then your tests are the other 50%. All of your tests are going to be closed book. That means that you should not use any notes, you shouldn't use your book, you shouldn't use anything but the information that you have stored in your brain to answer the test questions. And when it comes time for your first test, I'll give you a whole lot more information about those tests at that particular point in time. as you go along, you may find some things that you're struggling with or that you're having trouble with. And I really want to encourage you that if you have questions, please contact me right away, either via email or WhatsApp, or if there's some other platform that you want to use that works best for the location where you are. Please just don't wait. Please contact me right away. I work really hard at making sure that I get all questions answered within 24 hours of when they come in, so that you aren't stuck and you are able to keep moving forward. If you don't ask a question when you have one, what tends to happen is, maybe today you're a little bit confused, but then tomorrow you get more confused, and the next day you're really confused, and by the end of the chapter you're totally lost. And we don't want that to happen. So I really want to encourage you to ask your questions as they come up, so that I can help you when you start struggling and get you back on the right track to understanding the material as we go through it. Finally, if you and your teaching parent are okay with it, I would really like it if you would send me a picture, just a headshot of you. It helps me keep all my students straight, helps me get to know you a little bit more as I'm grading your work. And I promise I will not post that anywhere. The only place it will be is in my records and maybe on the wall above my desk, so that I have a picture of your smiling face as I'm going through your work and corresponding with you as we go through it. I'm looking forward to a really good year of biology with you.